Well, the recent discovery of 13 abandoned bunnies by a hiker in the Timucuan Preserve shined a light on a common but little known problem. Join me to discuss it is Samantha Burns, founder of Bebette's Bunny Rescue. We're also joined by Ivy, one of the rescued bunnies discovered on New Year's Day. Welcome, Samantha.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me.
And folks on our live stream can maybe check out a shot of Ivy, who is darling, very sweet little brown bunny here with long ears. Um, how is she doing?
She is doing fabulous. When we captured these bunnies, they were malnourished and very dehydrated. So once they were in safety, they drank a ton of water. They have since gained weight. Most of them gained about a pound in a week just because of how malnourished they were.
Wow.
But she has been spayed and microchipped and deemed healthy by our vet, so she's ready for adoption.
So these bunnies were found in the Theodore Roosevelt area of the preserve, kind of a picnic area. A hiker found, I guess, a couple of them. So when did you realize that it was such a large group that had been abandoned there?
Oh, so we got our first message with videos and pictures on January 1st, and someone mentioned that they were getting off of the trail and said that there was a bunny. And then we had another person said, I think there's 6+ bunnies near the picnic tables. So then our volunteers went and discovered that, oh, there's 10, oh, there's 12, and now there's 14. So we were able to capture 13 and get them to safely. But unfortunately, the 14th one has not been found.
So this they were found. You said they were not in great condition. They were malnourished. They had some parasites like ear mites apparently. Um, why is it that they can't survive in the wild? I mean, they look like a hardy little species. We see bunnies all the time in the wild in Florida. What's the difference?
Yes, in Florida, we have two wild rabbits. It's the eastern cottontail and the marsh rabbit. But their lifespan on average is about 2 years. So it's very short just because everything eats rabbits in the wild, even though they are camouflage for those two wild species. There's still owls and snakes and alligators, just everything that is a predator to these prey animals. So for domestic rabbits, they have lost all of their instincts from the wild rabbits. They're different species. So they don't know where to find food. They don't know how to live without human attention and assistance. So they don't blend in well and they just cannot survive in the environmental factors, especially in Florida.
So, how common is this practice of getting rid of bunnies? I mean, especially in a large group like this, how often does it happen?
Every day. They're the third most dumped and euthanized pet in the United States. So it's cats, dogs, and then it's rabbits. So it is extremely common for people to get them on a whim, especially around Easter, because they think they're so cute and they impulsively buy them, not knowing how to take care of them. And then they're wondering, okay, well, now they're spraying and having hormonal issues. What do I do? And the answers are pretty simple. We litter train them after they're spayed and neutered. We do a lot of education, and they really are great companions.
We should probably talk about how you kind of got into bunny rescue yourself. I mean, there's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation about bunnies, especially when you're buying them at a pet store, and that was something you encountered.
Yeah, so I started out by getting one rabbit at a pet supermarket, and he was just the cutest little bunny in this cage, and he had this head movement that I thought was really unique, kind of like he was dancing. And so I decided to buy him, and I bought all of the wrong supplies, wrong food, and then went back because I was like, oh, they're social, they have to have friends. And then in 2 months, we had 15 rabbits because they lied and said that they were neutered and healthy, and they were not. One had neurological issues, and no one was fixed. So I've made all the mistakes that everyone would normally do when they go into a pet store and just impulsively get a rabbit.
And their fertility really is a thing. I guess rabbits can become pregnant actually the day they give birth. I mean, there is no
Hmm.
interval where they're not fertile except during their pregnancy.
Right. They're always basically in heat, so they can ovulate at any time, and they have babies every 30 days if someone chooses to.
And so that's why I guess they're abundant and people perhaps get overwhelmed by them.
Mhm.
So what is it that your rescue organization does other than trying to, get animals that have been dumped and rehome them?
Mm. Yep. So we take them in, we get them healthy, we do a lot of education to really teach people how incredible these animals are if you treat them properly. I know mine personally love to sit on the couch and watch TV with me, and they have a litter box that they go and use. So they're very underestimated.
So they're actually litter box trainable, huh?
Hmm.
Interesting. So this experience that you had at the pet store, and then kind of getting this unexpected bunch of bunnies, like how did you handle it? What did you do with them? Um, and did you, return to the pet store to sort of ask for some accountability?
Yeah, I spoke to the manager and they basically just said, "Oh, just bring the bunnies back and we'll put them available for sale again." And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I did a lot of research and it was very hard to find pet rabbit information. And once I did, it opened up a bunch of doors of, oh, this is actually the proper food they're supposed to have, because the pet stores will sell, for instance, rabbit food that has seeds in them and they can't process seeds. It'll actually puncture their intestines. So it can be fatal, but there's this cute rabbit picture on the bag, so you think it's safe, even though it's not.
And how difficult is it to kind of prepare people for having a bunny? I mean, that's the training that you do. What specifically do you tell people?
I tell them to expect the rabbits to be similar to cats, where they live inside and they use a litter box, but they also want attention when they want it. So they're not as needy as a dog, which is a plus, especially for someone, I would say, who works quite a bit. We highly recommend bonded pairs, but they're just overall really incredible.
Bonded pairs, but it is difficult to sex or determine the sex of a bunny. And so, what do you advise people if they're going to get a couple? I mean, so they don't end up in the situation that you found yourself in.
Yeah, so we have a website where we have a video and explain how to check gender, but going and getting established at an exotic pet specialist, so an exotic veterinarian, they will help determine the animal's health as well as the correct gender. And since we spay and neuter, if someone has one rabbit and they want their rabbit to have a companion, we would do matchmaking. We call it speed dating. And so their neutered male can come and visit our spayed females, and we can see who they're most compatible with so that they have a friend at all times to play
Oh,
with
that's
and
fun.
eat together, snuggle.
Yeah. We should note that, it is illegal to mistreat, or abandon an animal in a public place. It's a misdemeanor in Florida, a penalty of up to $5,000 or imprisonment or both. But it is persistent, obviously, not just bunnies, all kinds of animals. What is being done with any specificity on the front of rabbits when it comes to legislation?
It's hard because there's not anyone, I would say, watching or actually holding these people accountable. So there's like for the Theodore Roosevelt Park bunnies, there aren't any cameras, and the park rangers couldn't do much. We try to partner with the local animal shelter governments and shelters just to be able to put something in place for things like this. But it is very difficult. In Nassau County, I was able to get a ban passed on rabbit sales in pet stores. So that way, breeders had to have healthy bunnies, had to have the correct permitting, or they have the option of going through, like, let's say, Petco or PetSmart, where they partner with local organizations who are nonprofits. So you know that you're getting a happy, healthy bunny, and they're spayed and neutered and have everything.
And I
That
guess we
check.
should say this sweet bunny Ivy here is still available for adoption. So if people are interested either in helping as a volunteer or trying to connect with some of the bunnies that are available, how can they do that?
They can go visit us on social media. So we have Facebook, Instagram, but we also have our website, which is bebettesbunnyrescue.org, and they can fill out an adoption application there. And then we'll send our Bunny 101 class, which is free and virtual, and it teaches people their diet, their housing, what to have in a medical emergency kit, and just so that they're fully prepared for that 8 to 10 year commitment.
What's the cost of spaying?
So we are fortunate to have a good relationship with our vet, but we pay $230 per bunny. So if someone were to go to a pet store or to a breeder and get a bunny, they're going to pay on average closer to $300-400 just for their alteration surgery.
Well, good to know. Samantha Burns, thanks for doing what you do with the bunnies. Thanks for rescuing them. It's nice to meet you and Ivy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, up next, 6 compelling reasons to look up at the night sky.